Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Harbor Freight's Bauer 1/4 inch brushless impact. I've had this thing for 2 years, almost 2 years. Am I happy with it? Has it served me well? How's it holding up? And would I buy it again? Is the value good? You know, is there a high value there? Those are the things that we're going to answer here in this video, so let's get into it. All right, so in typical fashion, I kind of always start from the bottom of the tools of everything I review, even when it's not power tools, and move my way up. We'll start with the battery. Runs fine on 1.5 amp hour batteries. I'm just trying to get away from them pretty much completely. Not that I've had any wear out at this point. I just am not going to replace them when they do go bad, these 1.5 amp hour batteries I have. Definitely runs a little bit better on the 3 amp hour batteries, and it's only going to go up from there when you go up to the 5 amp hours and the 8 amp hours, which I don't have any 8 amp hours. So fits into the battery pretty nicely. You know, a really smooth connection there. Clicks in nice and easy. I've had no issues with the battery falling out of this tool, or really any Bauer tools for that matter. And while we're down here on the battery, it is a brushless tool. So one of the advantages to a brushless tool is going to be that the batteries last longer because the tools consume less power. Not that I'm in the position where I use this tool all day long, but I have done some jobs that have taken me, you know, the better part of a day. And if I slap a 5 amp hour battery in there, it's pretty much going to last most of that job, most of the day. Obviously, this is just subjective and not really measured in any way, but power consumption with this brushless tool is noticeably better than the brushed version of the tool. You do have a little bit thicker bottom here as compared to the standard brushed model. And the reason why is I understand they have some kind of heat sink plate in there or something to keep the tool cooler. One of the nicest features on this tool is what's going on here? Okay, the torque setting here. So I'll bring it up here. Hopefully you can see it. Hey, one thing real quick here. This is a post-edit recording, but I was realizing when I was going through and editing that I kept referring to this as a torque setting. It's ultimately just a speed setting. So I wanted to make that clear. It's a 3-speed 1/4 inch impact. You have this button here. You can change the amount of torque or the amount of power you want to put into a fastener. And I'll do a little more on that later. The button feels good, feels decent quality. And then, you know, you have, like I said, you have those 3 little indicator lights to pick your 3 different power or torque selections. Okay, rubberized overmolding. I always talk about it. Looks nice, feels nice on the Bauer tools. Then the trigger. It seems like with the brushless power tools that I have, the motor engaging and running is a little bit delayed from when I turn on the trigger. So I don't know if it's going to be picked up in the camera. I really don't know if we can capture it, but we'll go ahead and try right here. Anyway, seems like it's a little bit delayed. Not that I really see that as an issue. By the way, I'm probably best described as a DIYer and also a homesteader. Anything that we do on our house, anything I do in my backyard, anything that we do around our property is going to be done by me. And if I need a power tool, I'm pretty much mostly picking up these cordless Bauer power tools, and that's what I'm using to do the jobs. So that's just to give you an idea. This isn't 2 years of work on a job site. I'm a DIYer. I think Bauer fits the bill really well for that, and you know, a bit of a homesteader. So moving on up, you have your forward and reverse selection here. Nice tactile, audible, and physical feeling selections there. So you have forward, neutral, and reverse, and the neutral just stops the trigger from pulling. Moving on up, rubberized overmolding here on the back, probably a little bit of impact protection. Then you have a little bit here on the side. I like Bauer's branding. I like, you know, the red and white tools. I talk about it all the time. Color really does not mean anything to how good a tool is. This thing could be pink and it'd be just as good, but I do like the colors. I do like, you know, the branding and the layout there. It looks pretty nice, the fit and finish. You have a warning and information panel here talking about the different information that you may need to know about it. The model, if you care, because a lot of people care about this, is 2181CRB. So moving up, you know, the plastic housing overall, just like everything else, durable, works good, has a little bit of flex in it, which these things are going to need. You know, I'm not like plastics or cordless tool engineer or anything like that, but I think, you know, whatever they're building this plastic out of, however they're manufacturing it, it's definitely up to snuff, and it's doing a good job. Then you have your 3 LED lights and your collet. Let me just show you real quick here. The collets, they are not a quick insert. You do have to push out the collet like a traditional power tool. Nothing, doesn't bother me. You know, maybe somebody who needs to be real quick, you know, time is money type of guy might want a speed collet there, or a speed insert, whatever they're really calling it these days. One more thing real quick before we move on to my experience. You do have belt clips that come with these things. I just typically tend to not put them on. I really never wear tool belts when I use these tools, and I feel like they just generally kind of get in the way for my purposes, but I'm glad that they include them. All right, so I am going to demonstrate the 3 different torque settings on this thing. We're just going to use a T25 2.5 inch pretty standard screw here. Putting it into this 4x4. Just to give you an idea, this should be, that's setting 3. Let's change it to setting 1. So here's setting 1, just to give you an idea. This is a very, very low setting. Okay, so I did bottom out that screw. Drove it all the way in very slowly. There's plenty of applications for something like for this level 1. Nothing I've really done yet up to this point. We'll drive it out real quick and move on to setting 2 now. Setting 2 is a little bit different of a story. Setting 2, I've used a lot. I put in a lot of roofing. I roofed a stable with just standard galvanized roof sheeting, and I used setting 2 to put all those in. That's what, like an 8x10 roughly structure there. I also roofed my chicken coop, and that was like a 6x8 structure. This I haven't roofed any. Oh no, I actually did re-roof the other little chicken coop. That's like a 3x4 or 4x4 or something like that. And so this number 2 power setting, I've really had good luck using it for roofing, just so I don't over penetrate through those roof sheets, and it's worked well for me. So this is going to be much more impressive in setting 2. So much faster, much easier. And we'll move on to setting 3. Setting 3, it's going to zip it right in. Pretty quick. That's a 2.5 inch screw. Just to give you an idea of the 3 different torque settings. Anyway, functionality wise, durability wise, been a fantastic tool. Had no issues with this one, or really most of my Bauer tools for that matter. It does everything I ask it to. It's never been underpowered really for anything reasonable to ask a 1/4 inch impact to do. It's always done a great job. It's one of those tools that just feel good when you use them. It's not even like, oh yeah, it gets the job done. It's like, man, like this is a pretty decent, nice tool that I'm using here in my hand. Is it the best? I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not the best, you know, compared to what the really expensive pro-level tool brands, your Milwaukees, Makitas, DeWalt's, you know, for significantly less money. And I think that these things are running around 50, 60 bucks. So obviously tool only. So very inexpensive, good tools, great value in them, love having them. Absolutely worth the upgrade. Definitely wanted to mention this. Absolutely worth the upgrade over the brushed versions of them. Much better tool overall. Worth the upgrade even if you own the brushed version. And yeah, so that's pretty much going to do it for this review, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did like it. And if you're not a subscriber, go down, click subscribe, get more Bauer content and tool review content and homesteading content if that's something you're interested in. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.